Julian Assange is in the headlines once again, with WikiLeaks saying that it's ready to sue Britain's Guardian newspaper. It's accused of fabricating a story of Assange secretly meeting Donald Trump's former election campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. WikiLeaks has already launched a fund to support the legal action, with Assange instructing lawyers on the case as well. The notion of those secret talks has rapidly spread over the media and comes as Paul Manafort's also accused of lying to the FBI in the Russia collusion probe. The former Trump campaigner was jailed this year after being found guilty of charges including bank and tax fraud. Manafort agreed to take part in the Mueller probe over Russian meddling into the 2016 US election. He denies cooperating with Russia or ever meeting Assange.
This story is totally false and deliberately libelous. I have never met Julian Assange or anyone connected to him. I have never been contacted by anyone connected to WikiLeaks, either directly or indirectly. I have never reached out to Assange or WikiLeaks on any matter. We are considering all legal options against The Guardian, who proceeded with this story even after being notified by my representatives that it was false.
The scandal comes as a US judge postpones a ruling on whether to reveal possible charges against Julian Assange. Maupin breaks down the furore surrounding the case.
As far as the U.S. government is concerned, Julian Assange, co-founder of WikiLeaks, is no good.
Time to call out WikiLeaks for what it really is: a non-state hostile intelligence service often abetted by state actors like Russia.
Being hostile to the United States and damaging its reputation, that's not illegal. However, working with a foreign government to try and influence election results, that might be illegal. At this point, the Guardian newspaper in the UK is claiming that Paul Manafort and Julian Assange worked together during the 2016 campaign. They allege that there were secret meetings between Paul Manafort, Trump's lawyer, and Julian Assange.
Paul Manafort held 3 secret meetings with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, including one in 2016, around the time he became the Trump campaign chairman.
He met 3 times with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, living in Ecuador's London embassy.
Paul Manafort met with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange on several occasions.
There was some sort of coordination or collusion. This would seem like there's more evidence pointing to that.
If it's true, of course, the implications are explosive, right?
They only relied on an unnamed source allegedly from Ecuador, and they gave no explanation as to why the London Metropolitan Police, who've spent millions of dollars to monitor the Ecuadorian embassy around the clock, didn't detect such a meeting.
Why is there no evidence? Why is there no evidence in the visitors' logs that are supposedly complete and thorough, and Manafort's not there? There are video cameras everywhere and police everywhere, and there's no record. We can withhold judgment and remain skeptical, but a possible explanation for the lack of evidence is that there isn't any evidence.
Our channel has actually reached out to the London police to see if they can confirm that such a meeting ever took place. Now, we've not yet received any response. WikiLeaks is saying they will pay big money to anyone with proof of such a meeting.
Remember this day when The Guardian permitted a serial fabricator to totally destroy the paper's reputation. WikiLeaks is willing to bet The Guardian $1 million and its editor's head that Manafort never met Assange.
The story is getting even more twisted. It turns out The Guardian has been editing their article in the aftermath of publishing it. Words like would have and apparent and hoax are being added. It looks like they're starting to back away from some of the allegations they made about Manafort. It's been revealed that Assange is possibly facing criminal charges in the U.S. A court filing related to Assange was mistakenly made public. The Reporters Committee for the Freedom of the Press is demanding that any charges against Julian Assange be made public. They are taking this to court, where the prosecution is arguing that the charges do not have to be made public if they exist.
The First Amendment does not require the government to confirm or deny the existence of criminal charges in this case.
So, if Julian Assange is arrested, at that point we will then know what he's been arrested for. Now, this is a little bit strange. You would think that if the government is spending resources and money in order to try and apprehend a criminal, that we ought to be privy to know what crime he's allegedly committed. However, at this point, it's widely alleged that Julian Assange is working for a foreign government.
This is cut and dried. WikiLeaks is an outlet for foreign propaganda, and Julian Assange is an enemy of the American people. He deserves to spend the rest of his life in an American prison.
But how do you prove that? After all, WikiLeaks is an independent outlet. Now, some suspect that Julian Assange could be charged under the Espionage Act of 1917. That's an obscure law that goes all the way back to World War I. It makes it illegal to publish government secrets that could damage national security. If indeed Assange is charged under the Espionage Act, that'll be the first time a publisher has been prosecuted. And many civil liberties advocates fear that this could have a chill effect, making the press afraid to publish information given to it by sources. At this point, we know that there may or may not be criminal charges filed against Julian Assange, and that we have no right to know what those charges are if they actually exist. So much for transparency. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.
While The Guardian hasn't officially commented on the accusations from WikiLeaks, former MI5 officer Annie Maupin thinks the US will go to any lengths to fix charges against Assange.
It's been an open secret for many years that there's been a secret grand jury convened in Virginia trying to find a charge, any charge. Hell, they'd probably make up a new law just to prosecute Julian Assange in revenge for the fact that he shone a very bright light on some very murky and dark details of what the American state was doing. It's very, very useful for the American establishment, and the Democrats particularly, to conflate everything with one big mass that, you know, Paul Manafort, the Mueller probe, Donald Trump, WikiLeaks, is all part of one big sort of Russia-gate type thing. Whereas actually if you unpick the details, none of that hangs together whatsoever. And I think Julian Assange is now becoming a bit of a pawn in a very high-stakes game within American politics, Washington politics.